Okay, we're gonna do this, aren't we? So right out of the blue, a 3v4. So I'm Sabrinsky, I'm in blue. I'm in a team with New Normal and 29. And on the other team we have Koiz, Shive, Abahandalda, and Budget Bench. Probably the best username in this game. So this is part of a friendly tournament match between the seven of us. And for whatever reason, we chose a map pool of like six different maps, and we ended up getting here with Nomad. So I'm in the blue, and I have my teammate New Normal here in the green. I have another guy over here, 29 in orange. And as you can see, it's very hard to distinguish between yellow and the gold piles in the minimap. But here's Koiz, here's Shive, here's Abba, and then the one, the only Budget Bench. 6953. I have no idea what the significance of that name is. But here we are, and fair warning. So, new normal 29 and above, they're the only ones above 1100 ELO, and they also have a fair idea of how the map works, how to start up. While the rest of us are like below 1k, we're all noobs of varying ELOs. And Nomad is not typically a map that, noobs can play well. So it's difficult because you don't start with anything but three random villagers. And if you've noticed since DE, there's always a bunch of hills in the map generation for Nomad, and sometimes even like mega random versions of Nomad. And so what happens is, like, for example, you can't TC over here, for example, or you can't TC over here, where you can TC happily between the gold and the wood pile, but it is what it is. So we're gonna start now, and we're gonna make it a bit fast after a bit, but not now, because here's the biggest problem in Nomad: it's to decide where you're gonna place your TC. And as you're gonna see here, I haven't chosen a place to pick my TC spot yet. Whereas Green has already decided that he's gonna be here, and 29, who's in orange, he's gonna dock here and then probably TC somewhere over here. And this is important because while he's doing that, you see Abba has TC'd here, and you see that Budget Bench is also TCing over here, and Shive is TCing over here. Now the last person to make a TC is Koiz, but we'll get to him in a bit. But right out of the bat, my teammate, 29, is stuck here between 1, possibly 2, and definitely 3 people. 3 players that are on the opposite team. So, yeah, I apologize, I'm just a bit sleepy, but I thought I'd do this video right away. So we're pinging a lot of stuff. Green's probably gonna have his TC up first. And I'm making my TC here. So for the most part, it looks like I'm going to be safe, and Green's definitely safe. So, so Orange is in a bit of a panic mode right now, because if you see his fog of war, right? He already has visibility. He knows that, there are people here, here, and possibly here. Now, he isn't entirely accurate, but like for the most part, his judgment was pretty good. So TCs are up. Mine isn't, because I'm the lowest elo player on my team. A little bit of idle eco here and there. That's normal in Nomad maps, and at least at this level. So people are getting their coats. Some of them have a dock up. I have my dock up here, but I don't have enough wood. So that's just me. Now, if you toggle over here, you can actually see your military pop, idle villagers, and actual eco pop as well. So just in case you want to watch a match later on and you don't know how to view that, I mean, here you go. So there's 1 minute left in the treaty. That's because Koi still didn't have his TC up, and he finally chooses a position here, which is pretty close. to 29. So 29 is getting his board. I mean, most of this is standard like darkish play, but the problem is the long term. So what happens in the long term is 29 is not in the best of positions, and that's me putting it politely, right? So I realized I forgot to mention the civs, so I went random civ and I got Slavs. New normal picked Franks, and Rohan picked Ethiopians. Or 29 picked Ethiopians. I just know them by name, so I'm gonna put them by name at time to time. Shive here is the Armenians, he has a mule card. Aba is Georgians, he has a mule card as well. And budget bench is Goths. So if you're expecting to see a Huskal spam, I mean, you're probably right. And Khois is Mongols. They're a good scouting civ, they're a good cavalry civ. So yeah, I mean, you can see right away that this is not looking good for my teammate. And it doesn't help that we have 3 players and the opposition has 4. So purely on numbers, it's looking pretty bad for us right from the get-go. And so people, I was trying to ping Orange about a possible location for goal, but I didn't notice that Purple had his TC here at the time. Yeah, so Nomad's a map typically where the external part of the map is surrounded with fish. You have tuna, you have salmon, whatever, whatever you like. I'm a vegetarian, so it doesn't concern me in the least. So you try to get up 2 Dark Age buildings, have enough eco 500 food to click up to feudal. So you can see like people are queuing fishing ships and villagers for the most part. So you can see Koi's, for example, has a fishing ship and he's creating builds as well. So it's pretty interesting, but score-wise, I mean, because we are 3 people, we have a higher average from time to time. But it doesn't really matter. Like until you get to the 20-minute game time, it doesn't really matter who has the highest score because things can go like out of hand pretty quickly or pretty late, depending on the context of what happens during the match.
Ow.
Also, 29 has loom on his will, but even so, getting that many hits on the will from your bow is not a good look. But it is what happens when you TC'd yourself into a corner. So far no one's clicked up, it's already 9 minutes. And you can see that we are low elo players because you see this kind of pathing and like...
Yes!
Yeah, there was a pause in the middle, but you see the way that this villager is being multitasked and the way the pathing has been working out of late. It's pretty wacky. So this hunter does not have loom. And I'm really worried about it because I didn't see this during the game. And you can see one hit from the door does a lot more damage. But thankfully he is able to save the will, garrisons it in the TC, and now this will doesn't need to get hit as much. But anyway. I've lost my wills to a bow multiple times, so who am I to judge, right? Not the best hunting, but this is me. So if you needed proof that I'm a low elo player, here you go. Right, so it's already 10.5 minutes and still no one's up. But again, if I go back to the population, Abba is pretty good with his population, as is new normal. They both have 23 each, and they don't have idle villages. But where you see like budget here at 6 for a bit, and then now he's back to 0. But the good thing is everyone here has been queuing pretty well for the most part. I mean, there will be some idle time. We're not Hera, Viper, Tout in theory, or Dragonstar, or whatever pro that you follow. Yeah, but as you can see, like, Rowan's out of options. 29 is really struggling. I mean, this house placement and the deer gathering is... I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I would do. And it's just surprising to see him do that. But anyway, I'm getting up a mill. So Abba's first to feudal age, and green new normal has queued up feudal age and he is hitting it now. And the difference in elo between the rest of us is pretty clear. So orange is also on their level, but it's just that he had a bad TC position, so he's not gonna have the smoothest of sense, but look, he's still ahead of us. So he clicks up before me, even though I've had a smoother start, and the other three are still not up. And it's 12 minutes, and it's almost 13 minutes actually. So budget bench is finally clicking up. That's good. But you can see Koi's now. Koi's is idle completely. He has not done anything with his TC. He just clicked a will now. He's going to get Loom, but he's nowhere close to Feudal. And neither is Shive for that matter. But they have food. I mean, he has 383 food. And Koi's has 433 food as well. So Abba's up first. He's already queuing up 6 pearls, and he's going for fire ships. Nick should be there soon. He has Villager and queue right after that. So yeah, Orange doesn't really like his position, so you'll keep seeing these flares from time to time. That's okay. And yeah, Green's up to Feudal. He's queued up a Villager, but is he going to make military buildings? So far you don't see much, but he's getting a market. And yeah, Orange is already getting Rust. So you see, like, he's forced to attack the Talk of Kois, and Abba's right next to him. I like how Abba's villager is repairing. You know, this is teamwork right here. So if you don't know what teamwork is, this is what it is. Anything else you've seen in real life doesn't matter. And now Abba's got towers up. 29 has his defensive tower up, you know, just to survive the onslaught. You're having a bunch of barracks here as Mongols. I don't think it's going well for Rohan, is it? And he's like really nervous. So I remember in game, he's pretty nervous. He's saying like, guys, I'm dying. And kind of understandable. I mean, he's getting housed. It's the worst position to be in. And Shive's now in feudal age. Koi's been up for a while as well. Everyone's queuing up, but you see Green hasn't focused too much on military so far. So that's because he wanted to click up the castle as much as possible. And because we didn't know what map we were gonna get, we decided he should take one of the intermediary colors like 3, 4, 5, so that he could be the pocket. But in Nomad it doesn't matter what color you are. So he's just getting his barracks up now. He's getting his armor upgrade for knights. So he has a game plan, because this is what I call it in our WhatsApp group. 29 is a play on words on the player's real name, which is Rohan. And 29 in game is Rogan. So it's like the closest sounding name or sounding word to his name. So I call this mission Saving Private Rohan, for the simple reason because he needs to be saved. If he isn't saved, it becomes 2v4, and then I'm not good enough a player to like handle 2 opponents, or even 1 for that matter. I'm not good at handling 1 opponent. Yeah. So you can see Rohan struggling. I mean, he has only 29 pops, 6 idle villagers. It's not looking good for him. So Green being in castle is like of paramount importance. He already has 2 stables up. He's probably going to get husbandry in one of them, but then he cures a fire ship up over here for some reason. And I'm going to come back to my fishing ships in a bit, because this is one of the silliest things I've done and I'm still proud of it. So more on that in a bit. Now you can see the whole time like the focus has been grey, orange, yellow, purple, grey, orange, yellow, purple, right? You don't see much of me. And Green's just getting like, you know, his army numbers up, and I'm on my way to castle. But we haven't talked much about Shive. He's on the farther corner. He has 2 people in front of him to absorb the brunt of a military attack, if any. And so he is collecting a lot of resources. I just think he's not clicking up at the right times, but for the most part he's doing a decent job. And he's stable because he has nothing to worry about. So Green's trotting out knights. His Franks, I mean, they're known for the cavalry. I'm in Castle Age, and I hesitate a bit with my decision making. I should have gotten up like 2 TCs right away, but I didn't. Now, to be fair to Rohan, like I've been dogpiling on him like for his position and his choice of TC spot, but like he's been holding pretty well. Like it doesn't help that, you know, like I missed some of the feudal raids where Abba lost a bunch of his builds. So they've not been able to put pressure on him as well or as much as they needed to, you know. And Abba's also in a bit of a pickle. He's building new carts and trying to collect resources, but this entire portion of his base is open. And he's walled here, he's walled here. He's focused so much on these two towers, which I think were bad placement considering his elo. But he has this entire portion open here. He has some visibility, but it's not really going to help. So what am I doing? I'm still queuing villagers. I don't even know if I have an army, right? I don't think I do. Yeah, I have like 4 military, I don't even know where they are. So I have scout here. I have some scouts here, but I mean, these are the ones that did damage to Abba. And that's why he's walling up his lumberjacks and lumberjills. Let's be inclusive here. So yeah, but I'm not really doing anything which is the wrong play, because you see Green's like going with knights. He's trying to do whatever he can to save Orange, who is our teammate, and I'm not putting in the same amount of effort, right? So he can take out the spears, but I think the stacking of the knights did not probably work in his favor. But thankfully, the pathing bug helped him out. So hopefully he can get out of that pickle. I'm still queuing villagers. I don't think I have a second TC, which is a bad play. I should have had a second TC because I have enough resources. So I have 420 stone and 351 wood. I should have had at least one TC on somewhere here, probably on a flat surface. Oh, and where did my wood go? I built fish traps, not realizing that I have a whole bunch of deep fish over here. So I basically invoked the spirit of Tim from the Hidden Cup 2, Hidden Cup 3 decider between him and Dot. That was a funny match, and it was made funnier by MBL scorecasting with T19. So yeah, a mix doing some damage, new normal, that's his name, Nick. He also has a YouTube channel, you should check him out, he's funny. So I'm just wandering around with my scouts. This is totally the wrong play from my end. So I'm not going to sit here and like lecture people on like, you know, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. Like, you know, we're all human, we're all low elo players, and this is what we do. So I thought I could just try hit Shive as well, but as I was saying, because Shive's been happily gathering resources, I mean, there's not much damage I can do. He has a solid eco for the most part. It's not that good, but and you see he has like 4 bikes, 4 archers. And Rowan's putting up a really good fight. So Koiz is just clicking up to Castle Age. Abba's been struggling, he has not been up to Castle Age on time, and he's the strongest player on the team. So in hindsight, I guess that's one of the things that Nick did right, is to kind of pull him back. But really there was nothing else we should have done. So I'm getting a few hits on some villagers, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not attacking the right player. I should be attacking the guys putting pressure on my team here, right? And Shah is probably not quick enough to divert his attention away from his archers, but I do send 200 gold to Rohan to sort things out. Rohan, who by the way is 29. And so here I am going with the officially the worst castle drop in all of Age of Empires history. So I have 3 and I have a total of 10 villagers on this castle. There's a relic that I should have probably collected. Yeah, and it doesn't matter how good you are as a player. In team games or single player games, you're always going to have an idle just staring endlessly into the abyss. He's taking out this tower, but honestly speaking, like in hindsight, this doesn't really do much. Taking out the front tower is of more importance. So Purple's also struggling, which is good for us because Purple is like on average the best player in this game. So as another friend of ours said that, you know, this is probably a balanced game that could have gone either way. Yeah, so I still don't have my military numbers up. I'm down to 3 because I lost a scout. And this is completely the wrong approach, but I'm getting my TC up, so that's pretty good. Finally. Well done, Subrinsky, like, what took you so long? So Rohan's struggling again. I mean, he has 13 idle villages and he's getting a castle on his face, defended by archers. So the teamwork here is pretty good. I like this strategy, but I don't think they doubled down on it well enough. I mean, there's a ram here. I mean, he could have pushed, deleted this house and gone in. So many things could have been done. Now, one thing you see here is Aba's queuing like fire ships from like all of his docks. Now, as a pro player, like he's like 1400 elo. I feel like this was a wrong move from him. And that's why, in hindsight, this is probably like one of the decisions that didn't really matter in the long run. And it happens to all of us. We all do things that, don't really matter in the long run, but we just do it because we think it's right. So I get some Boyas out to support New Normal's Knights. But I should have actually been focused on infantry because Boyas are pretty expensive. And Slavs are more infantry based and they can spam them out at a decent rate. Not as much as the gods, but somewhat better. Somewhat on par. So I should have spent those resources there. But all the battles on the land, there's like a bunch of castles, like a bunch of towers, like a bunch of iron eagle. And the fire ships do not range this area at all, which is the crux of 29's base. And he's still able to migrate somehow because, me and Green, we are trying to do like damage to purple. Who should have been in a much better position by now, and I'm rolling out a ram, like, yeah. So again, I invest into rams, I invest into Boyas, and now Shrive, who has been mostly untouched, is coming in with archers, and he gets halberdiers in Castle Age because he's Armenians. And I was confused for a second because I knew that Armenians get halb in Castle Age, but I didn't notice what Shrive's civ was until this point in the game. So he can take out my rams if he wants to. I think this was a wrong move. He should have taken out that ram a lot faster. And he could have taken out the rams too. There was no reason for him to back off. Again, low stuff. Yes, we were pausing. Yeah, we were talking about strats and everything. It was silly. Yeah, so my fish traps over here, the best in the world. If you're a CM Punk fan, you get that reference. Yeah, have a few gold miners here. My eco is kind of a train wreck. I mean, considering how safe I am and how unattacked I am, I mean, it's very bad play on my part. But for whatever reason, I'm the highest score. So I can't complain too much about myself. Yeah. So I can't really push this with Boyas, right? I can take out some of the archers, but again, once a halb's in, it's a recipe for disaster. Because I don't have the second attack upgrade, so the halves are gonna get me out. Yeah, so Shrive's still untouched, and honestly speaking, like at this point, he has a much higher score than the rest of his team. And he should have also pushed a lot harder. So he could have attacked me, and like I was not paying attention to my base. Neither was New Normal. But he still has like a few villages in his TC for whatever reason. Yeah, so all the flares, all the action is in this particular like 15 to 20% of the map. There's Mangadai, and there are idle knights over here. There are Huskars over here. This is the most stressful experience that you could have on a Nomad game if you are 29. On the hindsight, if you're blue or if you're team, then this is like one of the least stressful situations you can have on Nomad. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, I don't want to laugh because it was my teammate and it was my responsibility to save him. So I'm still going for the wrong approach. I kind of denied this castle. I mean, Green helped me out too, but I think we should not have let that, even complete more than 50% in the first place. So what I do is, I know that at some point he's going to bring like 5 villagers and complete the castle. So I set up my own castle to like start castle wars, right? And you can see I'm taking into infantry. So I'm queuing mana arms and trying to get upgrades. And I thought I'd go with skirms as well, but then I decided against it because it didn't really matter. So I didn't notice these 3 throwing axemen from Nick. Oh, New Normal. That's funny. That's probably because they died like pretty soon. Anyway, it is what it is. So I get a +1 on my castle, but Shrive has a +2. So I'm not exactly ranging his castle at the moment. So I'm getting longsword. Nick's getting a bunch of knights, ecos, and Rowan's finally clicking up to Castle Age. Poor guy, and as is Abba. I mean, these 2 players are so good, And if this is the first game that you're seeing of, then you would not believe me at all. And to a partial extent, I wouldn't believe you, but the fact that they've held on for this long shows how resilient they are. So sometimes being good is also about being how resilient you are, as opposed to like just trotting out 150 villagers or 200 Huskars or whatever, right? It's about, knowing how to respond to difficult situations. I feel like endurance is more important than just skill. Actually, a combination of both would be perfect. Yeah, so I don't have ballistics, so these are the most embarrassing castle shots ever. So I have a +2 range on my castle. Now we're getting into the castle wars. I think I send a will to repair the castle in due time. But yeah, I mean, so now I'm trying to trot out military numbers. I don't know why I'm queuing knights here. That was the wrong play. Yeah, but I still have like 4 military pop and I have only 66 villagers. So yeah, all the action is still here. And yeah, it's just bizarre. So now Shive, who's been the safest player this whole time, is first to Imp. As is Budget Bench, who's Gods. And Gods going up to Imp is like just the worst thing that you want to see as a notification if you're not playing Gods. So I don't know why he sent me gold. I mean, it was completely unnecessary, but I'm not sure if I asked him for gold during the game, but because I had enough villagers on gold. So I have like 6 here and 9 over here. So yes, I mean, I should have had more, but it's not like I was in a Greek state of economy or whatever. So yeah, castle wars are ongoing. I have my castle repair villager over there. And Orange has still, despite everything, he's managed to get out crossbows and he's shooting down the fishing ships. This is like the funniest thing ever. Imagine being under pressure from 3 opponents and then you're like, I have a bunch of archers. I'm going to shoot down fishing ships because it's the funniest thing ever, right? When you're out of options, you do the most memeiest of things. Yeah, so who's an imp? Shive's going to be an imp soon. Shive's going to be an imp soon. And Budget Bench is going to follow him soon. I don't know why his TC looks like this though. It doesn't, like the other TCs don't look like that. That's strange. So, here's Shive. He has a 1300 score lead over everyone else. What should he be doing? Well, this should be inside somewhere over here. Or he should be going for a completely different unit. Because he's Armenians. He's also an infantry civilization. There's no reason for him to stick to archers for so long. Halb, yes. I mean, Halb was a good play, but don't see much of that on the minimap. Grey's army, he shouldn't have gone knights at all. Pikes are a good play, but knights were completely unnecessary. So I'm queuing a whole bunch of long swordsmen, and I'm nowhere near castle age, right? And do I have the resources? No, because I'm focused on queuing army, which I'm not sure is the right play. But Nick's already an imp, and he's trying to get Cavalier, so he's trotting an army. He builds a castle as well. He's building 4 stables. I'm not using my siege workshop as last, which is again red flag and clear indicator of me being a low player. Right, so yeah, Rowan's just having fun shooting fishing ships. Yeah, I hope he doesn't have anyone in his family who goes into like the fisheries business, because this is just rough to watch if you're that kind of a person. But it's a decent army. He has 36 crossbows over here. It's not an easy army to take out. Good raids by Nick over here. So Abba's just been really struggling this whole time. But now you see there are Trebs out. So one from Shive and one from Monsieur Budget Bench, who has still one of the best usernames I've ever seen. And that's a popular opinion as well. So you have a good army of halves, good mix of knights too. It's good, so I'm probably gonna lose this castle. And one of the things New Normal says is when you know you're gonna lose your castle, don't bother defending it. And I'm not sure if I fully agree with that, but I also get what he means. So yeah, it's gonna be rough. So where's all my military population, right? I have like 28 military, but where are they? They're nowhere inside, which is not a good thing at all. So I should be having the military in full visibility somewhere. So I have like a few knights over here, a few long swords. It's not the best composition, but now they're slowly heading to this TC and taking this out. Yeah, now you see like all three of us are like here together. So despite everything's happened, like the one thing you need in team games is unity. When attacking, it really helps. And you can like spread yourselves out wherever you want to. So Nick has his own trebs, he has Cavalier. I have my long swords for the halbs and the huskars, but you see what happens? We target the wrong units. So we could have won that fight a little more comfortably, but again, this is what happens when you don't really focus well inside the game. So Nick going for the halbs and me going for the knights is completely the wrong move, all things considered. But we're gonna take out these trebs. So knights that I added for mobility are kind of helping out, and now I'm getting my castle here. I'm following the Hunnic Empire methodology. Build your own fortresses upon the ruins of the enemies that you've conquered. It's a bit rich coming from me because I didn't do anything to take out the castle. Yeah. I send Rohan some stone so that he can trade it and exchange it for resources. I don't think he's gonna do that anytime soon, but yeah, so now we're like fighting hard. I'm an imp now. I'm still queuing long swords. I don't think I got the two-hand swords for an upgrade on time. I should have done that. And yeah, I was called out by Nick for this. I should not be attacking the army here. Oh, these military buildings here, sorry. Yeah, orange is recovering pretty well. Purple is pretty much migrated next to Shive. And this has not gone well for him at all. So you see all these fire ships that took out my brilliant dock and my even more brilliant fish traps and fishing ships. So what is he doing now? They're not doing anything. And this is what I was talking about in terms of like long-term vision when making units. You know, sometimes, yes, Nomad is a water-based map as well. You need to go Navy, but it doesn't really add much value when most of the war is on land. And so Shive gets a good raid over here. But honestly, it's a bit too late. Like, as a top score player in this team, he should be a lot quicker. So he tries to take out my castle building villages. So this is like a desperation defensive castle. But thankfully Nick's here to support me. And Nick has an amazing presence on the board. Like, he's here defending me, he's here attacking purple, and soon he's gonna be here as well. And he's mining gold in the middle of the map. And orange is here with crossbows attacking a TC. Not the wisest decision, but compared to his TC position, I would say this is like a lot smarter. So yeah, so now the opposition of 4 players is like just feeling the brunt. I have two-hand swordsmen in. I'm getting my own trebs out. And our priority is to take out this castle here and this castle here. Now, Shive chasing this massive army of crossbows with a tiny amount of arbs is a wrong play because you invest resources into upgrading it to arbs. Abba should be on goal, but I don't think he is. Nope, he's not on goal anyway. Again, another bad play. He could have just TC'd here, for example, instead of these 2 TCs, which didn't help. But again, this is desperation, you know, like losing a match where you have the numbers advantage. It's pretty rough, you know, it leads normal people to make bad decisions. So here I am trying to take out these castles, and I don't have chemistry on my trebs, but I don't even know if I get it and I care about getting it. I have an unused treb here, which could have helped out a little bit more. But I have a sizable army here, like 42 hand swordsmen. It's pretty decent. So now we have 1 castle down, and we need to get this castle down as well. Get 2 hits on this TC, and then... So efficiency is where like you see the difference between players like me and the pros. So if I already got 2 hits on that TC, I just target the next TC because my 2-hand swordsmen are going to take that out anyway. So I got 2 hits over here. So I patrolled my 2-hand swordsmen into attacking this TC, but they attacked the mining camp for whatever reason. Again, just things that don't help, and I sent 4 here to take out this trap. All things considered, Rohan's like the MVP. He has a lower score, but you know, score is not really the indicator of, a resilient player on this map, of all maps. Yeah, just bad TC positions from Abba all around. Like, I'm sorry that this is the first game that you're seeing of him from my YouTube channel, but like, th- this is not good. I mean, you'd expect this from me, not from Abba. Right, so Shive's still safe for the most part. His eco has not been touched. Uh, New Normal has Paladin now. So he has Paladin, he has +4 on his knights. He has +3 melee armor and +4 PS armor. So these halves and halves are not going to do much in the long run, unless they have more numbers. So queuing skirms here is the wrong play completely. It really does not need to be the decision that you make at this point in time. Focus on halves because they cost roughly the same amount of wood, and they're also more effective against the army that's going to come towards him. And he's already seen the knights from Nick, or New Normal. So this raid comes in over here. I think this is where the GG is called. I could be wrong. I'm getting the armor upgrade for my swordsman. And now I'm also like taking out this PC over here. I'm gonna take out this castle over here. So the score is very misleading because like I have 8,800 score, but I've not really done much to in terms of in-game action. So I've just been playing it very safe, even though that should not have been the way I played this game. For two reasons, again, as I mentioned, numbers disadvantage and the fact that my teammate was in a bit of a rough spot. But he recovered and that's all that matters. So yeah. 3 castles of these slow foxes. That's a nice tumbling, isn't it? Actually 4 if you count this one. But yeah, I'm gonna count these 3 because it looks a bit symmetric, like a triangle. Oh, I like this. So there's a dig at me in the game that I'm casting where I win. Should we call the GG or cockroach like Sabrinsky? And I reply that I've patented cockroaching. So, and just friendly banter. So they're gonna call the GG because they can't really do much. I mean, this eco is completely wiped out. It's been safe for 57 minutes and yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can see the difference in population. So Nick has 200 out of 200. Rowan, despite everything that he went through, has 123 pop and he has 80 villagers. I was the safest player the whole time and I have only 59 villagers, of which 11 of them were idle, but I had like 80 military, right? But I had 80 military and it came up really late. And that's where Nick's army control gives him the highest KD by far. But oh man, look at the situation of my opposing team. 1 population, 3, 59, 6. So at 10 and 59, that's 69. Nice. And that is not even, that's barely like half of Rohan's population. And he's the lowest player on our team. And so what did these fire ships do? They did nothing. What did my fish traps do? They disappeared into the bottom of the ocean. So many wrong things. The skirms that were made over here earlier, they didn't do anything either. The eco that was safe, it didn't matter at the end. So you can always have a bad start, and especially on this map, it's really easy to have a bad start, as you found out the hard way. But it is what it is. We locked ourselves into a win, 3v4, and I'm not sure. I mean, pros might disagree with me, but I don't think the outcome of this match really depended on what civs we got. Because quite honestly, the only way that I can see a civ being a deciding factor here is for if for whatever reason Green or New Normal or Nick got a Mesosiv like Aztecs or Mayans or Inca, and they have eagles who are like mobile enough, but then compared to paladins, especially Frank paladins, um, yeah, I mean, I don't see how that could have worked. And plus, he was allowed to pick a civ, so I chose to be the one person in the team that went random civ. So picking Franks as a
Ow.
pocket civ definitely has its advantages. It's also good civ for us beginners. You get the free farm upgrades. But yeah, I mean, apart from Nick, I don't see how anyone else, the remaining six players, would have played differently if they had a different civ. I mean, the army compositions would have changed, but for the most part, like, it's all about the decision making. So, Abba going for two towers over here earlier, I believe it was on this hill. It was aggressive, but not aggressive enough. And he's Georgians. I mean, I'm sure the only reason he went for those towers was because of the Spawn Towers upgrade in Castle Age. But as you can see, he was late to Castle. I mean, he got wrecked. It didn't look good for him either. Yeah, so let's go to the stats quickly. So green's just all guns blazing. So why do I have the highest society score? Because society score is 20% of the cost of the castles and wonders each player has constructed. And I have four castles. I have four castles and I had one castle over here somewhere before. So I think in summation, like just my castle play caused the highest society score. Yep. And the well count's solid from Nick. He has 136 villagers. He has 67 army. So that's roughly 200. I have 83 army, which didn't do much in terms of damage. I have the second highest number of kills, but they all came like late game. And in terms of eco, well, the only thing I've done of note is send some resources to Rohan, or 29. And both of them have collected so many resources. And imagine collecting 17,000 wood despite being in the position that he was in. That's just crazy. Yeah, but all in all, I think it was a fun game. It was a bit weird. I mean, there were ups and downs. But yeah, I mean, it's all about decision making. You can be whatever elo you want to be, but sometimes the right decisions help you out, and the wrong decisions really, really, really mess up the way that things turn out. And we'll take one last look at these fire ships. Poor guys, 10 fire ships. They did a bunch of work, and they're left aside, quite literally. So I hope you enjoyed this. I apologize if I misspoke. It's my first time just learning from the grades on the WhatsApp group. So I hope you enjoy this. Cheers.